This is a picture from Malacca, and we were in Malacca at that time with our boss, whose name he mentioned, Mr. Thiri Loga Chandran. So what happened is we were completely helpless. I mean, two young students in a totally different land away from India. And our helplessness was helped by our boss. Like, he had said that he will be helping us with the entire internship money at the middle of the internship, just because he understood our situation. He gave us reference of his hometown. So he said his ancestral family used to stay in India. Although he was born and brought up in Malaysia, and he took us to his journey to his village in India while coming back from Malacca. By listening to him, what we felt that day is that as architects, should we only design for cities and megacities? Or should we also look forward to design for the villages, the towns, which cover a large part of not only India, but also a large part of the entire world? We took forward a leap from there, which we are going to talk about. We'll show you certain projects where we have followed or tried to follow these special goals.
We want you to experience the transformative power of architecture with us. Let's imagine yourself stepping up into a world where architecture and design begins without brick and mortar. Let's talk about this project. We started with a vision to transform the industrial architectural buildings. We introduced LGSF technology, that is light gauge steel frame. Now, what is it? It's not a typical construction methodology. The major key factor of light gauge steel frame is, which we can call it as a game changer, is the steel and the fiber cement boards as a primary construction material. By using this, what are we achieving? Now, let us take a look at it. By using steel and fiber cement boards, we could cut down the carbon footprint of this particular plant. Not only that, we could cut down the natural resources, we could cut down the consumption of energy, and also we could cut down the usage of manpower. Without this, we could not go or move forward into the future. Now, as architects, we have always believed in innovation, and innovation through which we can redefine the norms, we can create marvels and make an impact on people. That is the most important part. Let us talk about the user group over here. We have plant users, plant staffs, office staffs, labor. If you look at their lifestyle, they come at 10 in the morning and goes back at 7 in the evening. We made 2 elevations for them to make their eyes soothing while they are coming back from the office. So this is the office at day where the workers or the staffs are coming to the office. This is bright and aesthetic, which is giving them the visual pleasure. This is the way we are gradually thinking about sustainability and including them in our designs. When we set out to design Paro International Airport, we understood this is not just about functionality. This is to embody the spirit of Bhutan. It's a testament of power, a bridge between tradition and modernity, a gateway to the heart of Bhutan, from architectural design to the landscape in the ground. The central column of the airport, it defines power and shows the authority of the space. It is striking, and from every corner, it regulates you. It will take you to your destination. Our innovation, of course, that was important. The Bhutanese emblem itself. In this particular emblem, we have 2 diamond thunderbolts in the center, surrounded by 2 dragons and surmounted by jewel. We took all the symbols and wove them into the fabric of the airport. We are making it traditional from the outside because it's the gateway to the country, and contemporary from inside, because it's ultimately everyone's place.
Our designs have always looked forward to design for the mass, for certain social impact. So if you see the two projects that we've shown, that had a certain cause. Now we are going to talk about a project which, not just a project for us, but it was something we gave our heart to. We all know what happened in 2019 and 20. COVID pandemic hit and we were young architects at that time. What we could do as architects is what we wanted to challenge us as well. We turned ourselves into healthcare architects, hospital architects. What we did is we got challenges of designing and execution of certain hospitals in 15 days, as well as 1 month, as well as 1.5 months. That was the situation of emergency, and I think we all can relate to. We had taken up a concept which is quite used nowadays, which is the modular concept. Looking forward, we have not only designed in just our state, we have designed across India in several states, and we have used a technique which is modular construction or using cargo shipments. We did that because cargo shipments are really easy to carry from any place to another place. It can be carried at remote locations, as well as it is very rapid form of construction. And the most interesting part is, during COVID, everyone might remember that today if there was a need of 40 beds, tomorrow there might be a need of 100 beds. This type of construction that we are showing over here, it addresses this issue. Whenever there is a requirement of additional beds, we were able to add that, including the services. Whenever some other place needed those beds, we could transport that and put it to use in some other place. That's how, as architects, we tried to make a social impact during COVID. And I'll just show you some glimpses where we've not only addressed the patients, but also the healthcare workers who used to stay over there, and their well-being was also very, very important. We have designed these, and after execution, these places, again, in India, we talk about land availability and land scarcity. Here, when we completed this, and when the COVID pandemic got over, these were again relocated or turned into some other use like this. With COVID hospitals being one of the projects where we had to address the mass, where we tried to address mass, we have another very interesting project which we had done for the mass. I mean, in any city, if you go, I think one of the key features across the roads you would see is railings, right? So we all see railings across the road, and these railings often form interesting patterns, or they might not even form some interesting patterns because people might have misused some part of the railing. So what we try to do is, we tried to create very simple yet symbolic patterns. We used the railings as a clean canvas for us, and we used the theory of closure. Now, what is closure? Basically, when an image is broken into 12 or 15 or n number of parts and seen from a particular angle, our brain, our muscle memory tries to relate those and makes it into one picture. So what we are showing over here is something which is an application of closure. So using these railings that are there, it's not only for one panel or 100 meter, we did this across 5 kilometers in New Town. So if you've been to Kolkata and you're traveling across Bishwa Bangla Gate, I'm sure that you would be able to see this, which is our design. Simple pattern has been shown over here. And the most interesting part, as we are talking about designing it for the mass, designing it sustainably, every time it rains, the materials that we have used automatically gets washed off. And since it's a tribute to our legendary leaders, people do not misuse the railings to a certain extent. And anybody, starting from children to people of higher ages, everyone can relate to the art design. That's the beauty of architecture and the power of design. This was actually the concept sketch, which we had done earlier, and this is how it looks. And yeah, of course, we got a lot of recognitions for this particular project across the city. As you move by car, it's an interesting journey. It's no more just boring railings all across the city. It's something interesting which you can see if you're coming to Kolkata in New Town. As we were talking about villages, let us show you two examples where we have actually tried to come back from Malaysia and work on villages.
We have showcased 4 such different examples for the mass in the cities. But what about the villages? If we see the data, 67% of India is still village. Our journey led us to Kanaipur, a place that has faced dire consequences of the pandemic. We took an inspiration from the Abhimanyu's Chakrabuho in Mahabharata, from our epic, to conceptualize the artwork. We made a 1500 running feet street art, which is just more than an aesthetic. It was a answer to the pandemic from the architect's side. Social distancing was not a buzzword. It was the talk of the moment. So we converted this street art by telling people to maintain the social distancing. The art is not just an art, it's an awareness. It would not have been possible without the help of local village panchayat, local people, and of course, the teamwork that we did. It feels really great. We feel humbled when we see communities taking steps to make our vision into reality. In the end, it is not just about design and buildings. It is about lives we touch. It is about communities we transform. So this is the artwork derived from the Chakrabuho, and it is placed just near to the commercial areas, so that in villages people tend to come to the commercial area without any production. That means the village vendors, vegetable vendors, we gave them an art. That art become relatable to all because it was made of simple triangle and circle that is known to everyone, these common shapes. We didn't stop here. After COVID, we took another step for it. We were invited to make a Durga Puja pavilion. We took this similar concept, the similar shapes which was there in the mind of the people, and we did this. Chakrabuho and the social distancing measures through illumination, through artwork. See the dynamic light patterns at the top. We didn't stop here. This was some of the news and press coverages. Like Bengal's young architects have found a new way to celebrate social distance Durga Puja. And this is again another step. Due to COVID, we had a limited budget. We could not make the Abhimanyu's war scene, the Mahabharata scene that we all love to see in a Durga Puja pavilion. We used augmented reality. We created an app that is called as Aurav. We created augmented version of Abhimanyu standing and fighting at the center of the pandal. When you open up your phone, download the app and scan it, and generally we want to take picture in every pandal. We can see people standing like this, everyone. If you do this in this Durga Puja pavilion, you could see along with the idol, Abhimanyu fighting, less budget, unique idea, but we could complete the overall picture.
This is the first project which we did for ourselves. I mean, as architects, we are often told that, unless you have certain age, you don't get projects and all. So we started very young. And when we started, we were our first clients, to be very honest, because we took up this project, and this is something for which we had won the CII IGBC award back at that time, and we were national first. So when we came back with the prize money, and that time the prize money as students was very important for us. So what we did is, with that prize money, we tried to do an experiment, becoming our own client ourselves, that, let us try to just redesign one of the schools over there and try to experiment on something which we later termed it as ripple effect of architecture. So let us try using theories of architecture to renovate a completely dilapidated school where in the village we had proposed a pisciculture model. We had found changes which had not happened in almost 1 decade within just 5 to 6 months. How? What we did is, we tried to involve the community in the design. Like for example, the children who are here, we just told them very simple things. Take paints, put your hand impressions on the wall. I mean, what happens is, as children, we tend to call our friends, we tend to call our parents, we tend to call people we know. And that's how that school then becomes theirs. So they are the ones who are protecting it now. We don't have to go and tell ki you should not destroy this wall, you should keep this neat or do something. And we documented the changes that happened over a course of period, almost 2 to 3 years, and we were recognized at the London Design Biennale for this particular change that we had brought in the society. In 2021, we are working honestly towards some social impact. Then, as architects and in terms of architecture, the roles get really defined. For us, we could define that role. Now, to just simply wrap up what we have told, I would just like to tell something. So we talk about, in architecture or in design, we talk about a term which is form follows function or function follows form. What we say is form with a purposeful function is what is architecture. Because unless there is a good balance in between form and function, design, aesthetics and science, that could not be called as a true architecture. We have done this work not only in these 6 projects that we are showing, but we have thankfully completed more than few lakhs of square feet in terms of designing. And what we were very happy to listen from one of the very prestigious magazines in India, that is Forbes India, when we were awarded in the design special mentions 30 under 30 from Forbes India, we were told, we really love your values more than just talking about your valuation. So that is what was success for us. And as we bridge our company, we always try to bridge the gap. That's where the name comes from. And we will always try to bridge this gap and try to contribute towards the society with some social impact.
Whether to stay at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, or maybe traveling to Singapore, try to set up a MNC, or coming back to India and give back to the society. We both decided to come back to India, work for our motherland, and give back to society. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.